Thank you very much, and welcome to Tell the Truth. Our first guest, he's made a career out of being the most outrageous imposter that we've ever come across on this show, and you're going to see what I mean.
Number 1, what is your name, please?
My name is Frank William Abagnale.
Number 2.
My name is Frank William Abagnale.
Number 3.
My name is Frank William Abagnale.
Frank Abagnale was a con artist and the main character of Catch Me If You Can. He successfully convinced people he was a doctor, pilot, lawyer, and so much more. We will learn how a 17-year-old boy was so effective at making fools out of people. Number 1. Playing the authority. The first time we see Frank applying the principle of authority is on his first day at high school. After getting bullied, he impersonates a teacher to teach the bully a lesson and humiliate him in front of the class. The principle of authority dictates that people listen to authority figures, be it parents, teachers, directors, police officers, and so on. Titles, ranks, diplomas, certificates, and uniforms, trappings of power are all manifestations of authority that people automatically don't question and yield to. Now, Frank was able to create the impression of authority because of 3 elements. First, confidence. Authority figures are confident, and people simply assume that they know because they see them confident. When you walk in the streets and simply march ahead, like you know where you are going, without being hesitant or looking around, people move away to give you the space to pass.
Now, somebody please tell me where you left off in your textbooks? Excuse me, people, if I need to ask again, I'm going to write up the entire class. Take your seats!
Frank fully embodies the part of the authority figure when he orders the students to sit down, coercing them with the power of punishment. While clothing, accessories, cars, and other cues of authority only show the appearance of status, behavioral cues like open body language, tone of voice, and a sense of reassurance confirm it in the eyes of others. When asked on the source of his confidence, he said it came from his youth and his naivete. These were Frank's words at this Google meeting.
Some say, you know, you were brilliant, you were an absolute genius. I was neither. I was just a child. Had I been brilliant, had I been a genius, I don't know that I would have found it necessary to break the law in order to just simply survive.
The second element is the knowledge gap. We are taught as children to obey because our parents knew more than we did. More about life, love, relationships, and work. Frank used this gap of knowledge in French between him and the other students to push the narrative of authority. He learned French directly from his French mother, so he felt comfortable enough to portray this image. We will talk more about this later. The third element of authority is the uniform. Authority has cues, and uniform is one of them. No one questions or doubts the uniform. That is one of the main weapons of social engineering. It doesn't have to be a suit. It could be a clipboard, a construction helmet, anything that implies the status of a uniform. When he walks in on his mother with a banker, he's the one to notice the last president pin. In class, he was wearing a black uniform that is different from everyone else's attire. A bit further in the movie, after failing to cash in multiple of his fake checks, he realized that people do not take him seriously. So he decided to get a pilot's uniform and impersonate a Pan Am pilot. All these are signs of his awareness of authority. People already assume your credibility with the uniform because you have a lot to lose. If you misbehave, you lose your job. Play on people's greed. Whenever Frank needed a piece of information, he would simply make 2 phone calls. In the first phone call, he would pretend that he wants to do business with the company. People in companies are motivated by greed. And as a response to that opportunity, the company would give them the information he needs. Their name, branch, address, and all sort of details. And he would use that information to get more information or to create a false document.
I'm a co-pilot based out of San Francisco. I flew a flight into New York last night, but the problem is I'm headed out to Paris in 3 hours.
They lost a uniform. Happens all the time. Go down to the well-built uniform company at 9th and Broadway. They are uniform supplier. I'll tell Mr. Rosen you're coming.
Now in the second phone call is where he will use the other information to swindle the target by pretending to be someone important like a co-pilot who forgot his uniform, then use that social proof and authority to ask for even more information, or favors that he might use later, like the location of the manufacturer of uniforms, or the limit on his checks, or whatever he's looking for. Play the student. If you're not playing the expert, you're playing the student.
What airports does Pan Am fly to? What does a pilot make in the air, and who tells them where they're going to fly to?
Whoa, so just take them one at a time.
All right.
The second method of attaining information is simply by letting people play the expert. Listening to them, giving them the time, asking them questions. This tactic is the other face of the authority principle. People have a need of proving themselves, that they know how to do their job or achieve a specific task, and they are desperate to be recognized for it. This is why Frank used to pretend to be a journalist or a college student or a high school student, doing research. In this manner, the target doesn't assume any malice and is willing to disclose information. He did this with the airplane office and used it again on Brenda to know if there are any jobs available at the hospital.
I think they're gonna fire me.
No, nobody's going to fire you, Brenda. I bet you're good at your job.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, I bet if I asked you to check on the status of my friend Lance Applebaum, that you could do that for me in a second.
Nurse Fitzsimmons to recovery. Nurse Fitzsimmons to recovery.
Learn about the jargon. One of the ways to quickly get a good grasp of a branch of knowledge or to connect with people from a different field or company is by learning their specific language. We talked about the gap between the authority figure and the standard citizen or the insider and the outsider. Frank learned the jargon used by pilots in order not to get caught. You can quickly get in the know by searching for the key figures and the key terms of a specific field. Simply Google the field in the glossary of terms. This insider lingo is a part of what's called linguistic markers. Make them compete to hide inability or to delegate tasks. At one instant, Frank is put in the situation to demonstrate his medical competence. Because he doesn't know anything about medicine, he opted out for the option of putting resident students under the pressure of a test in order to force them to do the work for him, so he can get away from the situation.
What seems to be the problem?
Bicycle accident. Fractured tibia about 5 inches below patella.
Dr. Harris.
Yes?
Do you concur?
Concur with what, sir?
He took advantage of the subordinate's fear to appear ignorant or to ask stupid questions and lose face. Superiors use this all the time.
Very good, Dr. Ashland. Very good.
Blew it, didn't I? Why didn't I concur?
When garnering sympathy appealed to people's personal struggles. Every time Frank wanted to pay out a check, he would create a sense of urgency and appeal to their sympathy.
Please, it's my midterm next week and my books were stolen.
To do this, he would fabricate a story or a problem he's facing. The key in this is that the person has to empathize with the problem. If he's talking to a grandmother, he would play the grandmother angle. If he talks to a new graduate, he would bring out the graduate and student angle. If you are offered a good deal, don't become too enthusiastic or seem too desperate. Nothing in life is free, that is for sure. Appearing too desperate or in need of something, you will simply lose the leverage. This is why in the end of the movie, when the FBI offers Frank the chance to work with them, he tells them that he already has a job. He's trying to see how far he can go, how better of an offer he can get. Internally, he's freaking out because prison is not merciful. And if he gets 12 years, his youth is wasted. But he's still playing it cool. Pay attention to the documents you receive.
When your mom hands you a note to Miss School, the first thing you do is you fold it and you put it in your pocket. If it's real, where's the crease?
If someone gives you a document to get you to do something, like an identification document, in the form of driver's licenses or passports, or other documents, prescriptions, stock certificates, contracts, patents, invitations, licenses, receipts, and checks, and so much more, pay attention if there are any grammatical mistakes or errors in spacing or any inconsistencies in advance, because all of these might be signs that the document have been played with. Some of these problems might be due to the documents being scanned. However, if you want to confirm your suspicion and you've received a paper document, ask for a digital one, a scanned version. If you've been given a scanned document, ask for a paper document, just so you can compare and see if any problems there. It's always better to contact the source listed, if it was an organization, the municipal or shop, to ask them for a copy of the document's template in order to compare it to the version you have received. Most of that information you can find in the source's original website, so be safe out there. This video over here covers the con artist who sold the Eiffel Tower twice, Victor Lustig. I'll see you there.